one that doesn't work for the organization. Yeah, it's me. I'm Chris Jenkins. I'm with Charlotte Vibe, and I invite you to subscribe to my YouTube channel where each and every week I interview players one-on-one. And the cool thing about it is I always say I work for the fans. So I always take questions from you guys, ideas from you all, and I put that into my interviews with these players every week. And something very fun at the end of the interview is I do an activity like Office Olympics, just something really fun. And I don't always win, but that's not the point. Just so you guys can get the chance to see these players as people, not just as guys with helmets on running around on Sundays. It's really cool. So if I have your interest, please click subscribe to my YouTube channel and let me know what you think.
Now, Chris Jenkins, can you hear me now? You can't hear me. Why can't you hear me?
World. I'm hoping everybody can hear me good. We are having lots of technical difficulties today as we're trying to make this show different and very, very interactive. I want to go ahead and get started here because, you know, the game's about to be starting soon. So we can't take forever to get started. So give me just a second as I try to double check my guest host to see if I can hear him.
I can hear you.
Tony, can you hear me? Give me a thumbs up, Tony, if you can hear me. Okay, let me try something else really quick so that I can hear Tony. And
turn me on.
Just a second. Let's see. Tony, say something.
Turn me on. Turn my mic up.
Man, I am totally. Now you're there.
Yeah, turn my mic up.
And you're going. I don't know. I can hear you
right now. Get all up in this mic like this?
But you keep going in and out. But Tony, just I guess if it works, stay on. If it doesn't work, we'll definitely have you back on as soon as possible, some kind of way.
All right. Let's see if the guests can hear me. I mean, if the YouTube world can hear me when we go on. I'll check on my YouTube when you go live. Or
well,
are you live
right now, by the way? Yes, the world is seeing us right. Well, they're seeing me. They don't see you yet, but they see me. You guys can hear him. Well, I don't know. So let's start off formally. This is a live video, so you get to see some of the things that happen when you're live and you don't have everything extremely well tested. But Chris Jenkins, credential member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe. Today is Sunday, September 13th. It is finally game day. Carolina Panthers open up at home against the Las Vegas Raiders. Lots of new stuff, and you know I want to try this out. Leave your feedback as we go through this. We're going to try to stay on for about 30 minutes. Mostly want to just see what everybody's feeling today as the Carolina Panthers get ready to host the Raiders here at 1 o'clock Eastern time. Going to go through some quick notes that I have. Going to go through hopefully having my guest host Tony from Cat Chronicles on here. If not, we'll figure it out. We'll get him on later at some point in the show here. And let me also just start by giving a few shout outs to everybody that's on here. Good morning, Jalen, Michael, Kalen, the NFL nerd, Chris Johnson, Josh, Panthers, Ben Anderson, Adam Brock, Ali Broderick. So definitely going to get through everybody's comments because that's the whole point of this is engagement and talking to you all. So let me right now again. Let's see if I can test bringing Tony. Don't say anything yet, Tony. I'm going to try to see. I see I got your audio on there, and I'm going to hit this button so they're going to see you. They're going to see us together here.
Can you hear me now? Verizon commercial number 70.
Number 7. I can hear you at the moment. Continue to talk, Tony.
All right, so it is game day for the Carolina Panthers in the new Matt Rule era, right? And what is that? We don't know, and we're waiting to see what that will be, right? Is because we don't know anything about this team. We got a new offensive coordinator. We've got a new defensive coordinator. Hell, we barely know our owner, right? So there's a lot to learn about this team today.
All right. Hey,
And
I heard
the Verizon commercial working.
you the whole time. How about that?
Whoa, man, whoa.
We might make it through it. It might actually be my I got an earpiece on. I may need to upgrade this earpiece so I can hear you better. So if you guys see me like
Okay.
this, I'm just trying to securely hold my connection. I'm not just trying to look like an usher in church or anything.
You do wear your shirt like my son does with that top button.
Hey, I haven't. Why you got to talk about my top button, man? All right, so I think we're
All
good to
right.
get going here. Let me try to get to my notes properly and start to have some fun with everybody that's in here this morning. All right, so we're going to take the approach of steady and slow so that we don't mess up too many things today as we're going through this broadcast. Tony, can you see those comments?
No, only because I've got the YouTube open on another screen, and so I
No
can see the
worries.
chatter. That's it.
No worries. I'm going to read those comments.
Dude, the camera really does add 10 pounds.
So let me go back again to everybody that's here. I think we're getting things together, and it's live TV, so have fun with it, right? Jalen, so
Oh
when does
man.
the game start for people in Oklahoma? I'm using the NFL Network. So I don't know what time. I guess Oklahoma might be Central Standard, but I'm just going to talk about it from an Eastern Standard time zone standpoint. The game starts at 1 o'clock, so I'm going to guess 12 o'clock Oklahoma time. Michael Jones, how's it going? What time zone are you in? Just reading some of these comments really quick. Chris Johnson saying, what's up? Will you guys hear him? We're going back. All right, so looks like we're all up to date. Got to give of course, big shout out to my son who has tuned in. He's why we're messed up because he called me. Tony's my witness. He called me about 2 minutes before he had to go online and just threw me all off. No, he didn't, but love you. And Kelly says she's so excited to watch us play today. Gonna learn a whole lot. All right, so we're up to date. Let's go ahead and talk about some things. Guys, just know this is the first broadcast. I say that a lot of times because I'm a perfectionist. I want my broadcast to be just like what you're used to watching television. So give me a moment to work through some things. We're going to have some graphics and other things that are coming to make these broadcasts really exciting, really cool. We have a guest today, Tony Dunn, who is joining us from Cat Chronicles. Even though I just turned off his camera, I'm going to turn it back on. But I want to invite anybody that loves talking about the Carolina Panthers. There's lots of people out there on YouTube that are very, very knowledgeable, very cool, and talking about the Panthers. If you see this video and want to get on, just let me know. I would love to have you on because it's just fun. I think there's lots of people that have lots of good things to say about this team. So I keep looking for a sheet because I got a lot of notes together, but I forgot that I didn't print it out as digital. So here's what we're going to start with. This is a pregame show. We're going to start with some few interesting facts about today's game. Going to bring up a graphic that's hopefully going to show up correctly. And there I am in the background. So I don't want to be in the background, so I'm going to do this right here. Bam. So these teams today, little background information for you guys. These teams have faced each other 6 times since the Carolina Panthers came into the league, and they have split the series 3-3. This is just the 4th time that the Carolina Panthers have opened the season at home. If you guys remember, that used to burn Coach Rivera a lot, that even after they went to the Super Bowl years ago, that they were opening on the road. So it's cool that they will be opening at home today, even though, I got to say, unfortunately, they will be opening not in front of any fans. So I don't know if you can really count this as the 4th time, right? Because nobody's there to watch except for a few people. But let me go ahead and get back to it. Tahir Whitehead, who is currently a captain on this Carolina Panthers team, spent 2 seasons with the Raiders, and they had 2 good seasons because he led them back-to-back 100 tackles in those seasons with the Raiders. And then we also have wide receiver Seth Roberts, who played for 4 seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders. At that time, they would have been called the Los Angeles Raiders. I'm forgetting now because so much has changed with this year.
Oakland. Oakland.
Oakland. They've been all over the place. All right. So we're going to continue to move along here with some pregame stuff. Any comments, Tony? You want to jump in and say anything?
Yeah. One is that it's interesting, like you said, this is the 4th home opener. That's strange. It just what are we in our 27th season now? Maybe.
A lot.
I feel like we had the 25. There were 25 seasons. We celebrated that like 2 years ago, I feel like. So this would be 27th season. We only opened the 4th time at home. And no, it doesn't count that this is a home opener because there are no fans. You didn't even go to the game today, dude.
Hey, we can't make this about me. But no, I didn't go to the game today because
You could have. You could have been there, but you can watch it in the comfort of your own home with replay and commentary instead of just being up there. Do you think they make you be quiet in the box today?
Yeah, I think so.
You know,
I think that's going to stand.
isn't it a big deal to be for to be up in the what is it the press box? Don't they make you shh, like you got to be quiet and all disciplined, and that's why they want to be in there, right?
Yeah, so they give us a little formal announcement about, hey, this is a professional working environment. There's no cheering, no loud noises, and try to keep things down to a minimum so that everybody can work. So the only guys that are allowed in the press box will be if you listen to Amen Radio and they do call-ins, hey, we're going to cut to so-and-so. Suddenly you'll hear some guy say, hey, the Panthers are, you hear his radio voice for like 2 minutes,
Right.
and then he'll go up. But otherwise, it's pretty quiet.
So they shouldn't have to be quiet today. They should be begging them to cheer, number one. And the other thing is that when we talk about Tahir Whitehead, interesting story there because we just lost our best, a Hall of Fame Luke Kuechly is being replaced now by Tahir Whitehead. And everybody who is a Raiders fan I know is like, good luck with that, bro. So
Really?
I don't know. Yeah. I mean, they're not. But I think they also, if you think about it, the Raiders last year had one of the worst pass defenses in the league. They gave up something like 33 passing touchdowns. Or no, it was like a lot of passing touchdowns. I forget the number. But they went out and got Corey Littleton, I believe, and made some big upgrades at the linebacker position. So for a lot of Raider fans, they have been acting as Tahir Whitehead is an addition by subtraction when it comes to the Raiders defense. So that stinks to hear that when he's on our team and has to play such a vital role. I don't know. Maybe they just got sour grapes because their defense wasn't good. And we've seen what a bad defense does to even good players. Luke Kuechly looked pedestrian last year. No one looked good. It's kind of like trying to talk about an offensive lineman and saying this guy is good. Well, when the whole line stinks, it doesn't matter how good you play individually. So we'll be looking for that. And it doesn't matter. He's the oldest dude on the team, Chris.
He's not older than Jansen.
You're right. He would be because KK is 31. Tahir Whitehead and KK are the two old hats. Isn't that crazy? We're about to meet a lot of new young players, and they're going to have to grow up quick today.
Yeah, you're right. And I'm going to come to some things here. And if you guys see me looking around like I'm lost, I have so many notes that I'm trying to do for this pregame show. Tony hasn't helped me out and gave me the Big Fox pregame production team that just hands me stats and puts stuff on a teleprompter. So I'm still trying to get organized with it all. But Tony there mentioned that some of the stats from last season in terms of the defense of the Raiders, I believe. So I'm going to talk about a few cool things that I have for this Carolina Panthers team. Was not able to prepare the graphics, so excuse me as I look off to the side, but just hit the wrong button there. And the inactives just came out, so we're going to go through those inactives, and we're going to get off here shortly. But again, appreciate everybody tuning in. Hit the thumbs up button. That helps other people find out about us that likes the Carolina Panthers. hit the like button and the notification so that you can continue to join in for these live notifications. And Tony, I'm going to say it now while everybody's watching. You're invited back on when I have more things secured for this show. But again, graphic forthcoming for this, but I'm just going to talk through it. Some things to watch for today, or people, I should say, to watch. And facts based on the 2019 season, right? Maybe some things to be optimistic about. Christian McCaffrey, certainly can't wait to see him in this new offense. But again, there's so many new parts on this. It's going to be a million things to watch on this game on every aspect: offense, defense, special teams, coaching. But Christian McCaffrey, he led the league in scrimmage yards last year, yards per game last year, tied for total touchdowns, receptions by a running back, receiving yards, yards after the catch. He led the league in so many categories. So he's certainly a guy that you want to look out for. Some good things that happened with him last year that he's returning to this team. We don't have a lot of returning people. DJ Moore last year, top 10 in receiving yards. He was first. No, I'm sorry. These are top 10s. These are all top 10s for DJ Moore last year in 2010. Receiving yards, big plays of 50 yards or more, and games with 80 plus yards receiving. That's what DJ Moore did last year for us. On the defensive side, we have a lot of youth, and I did not write it down, but I think we have an average of 25 years of age on the defensive side, which is pretty young. Only maybe two guys that are over 30. I think it might be Tahir and Kawan. I'm not 100% on that. But
That's right.
also
Both of those guys are 31.
Okay. And then on the defense, where there's lots of questions, lots of things to see. 2019 ranking, Brian Burns was pretty good with I wrote 7.6 sacks. That sounds incorrect. I would say 7.5 sacks. Doing good for a rookie. And passes defended by a safety. Trey Boston was top 10 in 2019. So those are just the two things that we have highlights for on the offense, and one thing or a few things on the defense there as well. So, Tony, I'm going to turn it back over to you. Any comments on what we just went through there?
Yeah, today we get to see two of the best running backs in the league, right? I mean, Christian McCaffrey is the best right now. He's the champ. But you got Josh Jacobs on the other side, who was going to be rookie of the year until he tore a labrum, right? But if you think about it, Kyler Murray didn't even have 4,000 yards, barely have 4,000 yards passing last year, and he got the MVP or the rookie of the year. So maybe you can expect John Gruden to really feed Jacobs the ball this season, and you would expect them to do it today against the Panthers because our run defense last year was atrocious. Now it is going to be better this year, hopefully with Derek Brown adding to that mix. But we are young, and these guys are going to have to grow up on the field. That's what we're going to be looking at. But, yeah, I wondered the other thing I was thinking about, too, when you were talking about DJ Moore. DJ Moore is the toast of the fantasy football town. And I wonder, do his numbers go up or down this year based on Teddy Bridgewater? One of the reasons he was so productive last year is because we had a one-read quarterback in Kyle Allen. So now with Teddy Bridgewater, more experienced and really more capable quarterback, obviously, than Kyle Allen, you wonder if they're going to be distributing the ball a little bit more evenly, which would affect those fantasy numbers. But DJ, he's a beast, man. Get the ball in his hands, let him do his thing. He is really, I'm most excited about Robbie Anderson. I think Robbie Anderson is going to bring some big plays to this team. They obviously thought it was needed to add some explosiveness, and Curtis Samuel, folks, sadly, is not the answer yet. So Robbie Anderson, big game today for Robbie Anderson, I hope.
Now, I think in terms of DJ Moore's numbers, how they're going to be affected, one, again, media-wise, our access to players before today is not at all what it used to be, so I don't have a whole lot of eyes on experience to tell you guys about. But I just have experience from talking with the coaches, such as head coach and the coordinators. They said, and they've continued to say, that they're going to spread the ball around a lot. And players have been excited about whether it's Robbie Anderson, whether it's DJ Moore, whether it's Curtis Samuel. I mean, I will not forget when I asked Curtis Samuel about what his role looked like, and he just lit up, and he was like, I can't tell you guys, but I mean, he seems extremely excited about the opportunity. They're saying that the way this offense is built to leverage guys at any time, whether it's Curtis Samuel, Robbie Anderson, Christian McCaffrey, whoever it is, Teddy Bridgewater, that it's just flexible enough to leverage those guys as they need to. So we'll see more of that today unveiled. Let me go ahead and get into this inactive list today. All right. So P.J. Walker, he is inactive today. That means that Will Grier will serve as our backup quarterback. For some reason, they want to keep this under wraps, but Coach Rule did say that each week it would be, week to week on who was going to be the number 2. Marty Herney did say that there was a plan all along for the preseason was keeping all 3 quarterbacks. So we're going to continue to see which one of those guys can prevail. Stanley Thomas Oliver, cornerback. Defensive end, Sharif Miller. Left guard, Dennis Daly. No surprise there because he was, listed as out for Sunday's game today. And tight end, Colin Thompson is inactive this week. And let me see if there's any other notes that I want to point out real quick. That's it that I want to point out. Tony, I'm going to bring you back in here as well.
So we're going to be looking at the offensive line. We're trying to learn about that unit, right? Dennis Daly being out. A lot of people excited about him as a player, but I would say is that this offensive line, even without Dennis Daly, is one of the better offensive lines that we've had, at least on paper. If Paradis can play up to what we thought he was going to be when we brought him in, that's going to help. But Russell Okung is going to be a positive addition, and we hope, right? He was the better. We should have picked him. We had the opportunity to sign him in 2016 or 17 instead of Matt Khalil, right? We went the wrong way then. So we always get the players 2 years after I won them. Who was that safety? Do you remember Jarius Byrd? He played for the Saints, and then he came to us. He went from the Bills to the Saints. I wanted him then. Jarius Byrd comes to us 3 years too late. I hope it's not Russell Okung that is 3 years too late to the party. So we'll be intent, watching that offensive line. Look, Christian McCaffrey did it with worse last year, so we'll be okay there. And then I think when you talk about the Stanley Oliver Thomas, it just raises eyebrows. We should not care that this rookie is inactive today, and no offense to him, right? It's not, but at the same time, the fact that we do care highlights some of the deficiencies potentially in the secondary. Who is going to be Is Cornelder starting today? Or is it going to be Rasul Douglas? It's going to be Dante Jackson and somebody. And
should be
if
Dante and Troy.
Oh, Troy Pride. Wow.
Yeah. We used to see, but it should be Troy.
And the guy trying to get out of the doghouse. There you go. All right. Troy Pride. I hope that they're going to be good, and everybody believes that the fantasy play is Carr and attacking that secondary. They're going to have their hands full with a very fast Henry Ruggs. You can expect Dante Jackson on him. We do have speed on the corners, but Brian Edwards Jr. could be a problem. Played at South Carolina. This guy's 6'3". He's 215 pounds. He runs like the wind. He's the best receiver on that team. Mark it down, in my opinion. I think he's better than Henry Ruggs. Different player, to be fair. But they're going to try to test that secondary, I expect. John Gruden likes to be aggressive at times. In fact, that was his criticism of Carr, is that he wasn't willing enough to take the shot down the field at times. So while I do expect them to feed Jacobs heavily, the Panthers secondary, they're going to want to test how because it's young. And I guess Trey Boston's the old hat back there. But and then we're all dying to see how Jeremy Chinn's going to be used. Coach Snow has talked glowingly about Jeremy Chinn, and he's like all the draft heads, like Cody Lashley on our show, the C3 Panthers podcast. He loves Jeremy Chinn. So how do we use him? Is he going to be a linebacker? Is he going to be in the slot? Is he, a nickel corner? I don't know. He's a giant dude. They have him listed as outside linebacker. And how many outside linebackers do we have on this team, Chris? Like a bazillion.
Hey, you can't test my knowledge the first game pregame, Tony. I told you that. Come on, man.
Well, think about this. Marquise Haynes, Brian Burns, right, are all listed that way. Christian Miller, who opted out this year. Now they're listing Jeremy Chin. I was trying to think of some other ones.
Julian
Um,
Stanford,
but
Adrius Taylor, Jermaine Carter.
see, a lot of outside linebackers, but no linebackers, which is
Yeah.
interesting too. Infinite amount of linebackers that aren't linebackers.
Hey, but they're athletes. That's all we need are
They are.
athletes. He wants
They are.
athletes, intelligent guys that are flexible and can play many different positions and just are football players. We got a bunch of, Cam Newton used to talk about he's just a football player. And Matt Rule seems to embrace that mentality that he just wants athletes and people to play at any position at any time. But let's go ahead and go to wrap up, Tony. We're going to talk about predictions for today or for the season. So I'll go first because I don't really do predictions much. I know everybody likes to ask. Today's game, man, I really don't have a prediction. I start to think about predictions and
How
I feel
could
like I
you,
don't
Chris?
have one. Say it again.
How could you? How could you have a prediction? Nobody knows anything about anything this year. And I did want to ask you before we leave out, though, one question is why has the press coverage been so minimal to this training camp? Is this something that the team has just guarded more because of the COVID stuff?
Well, I will say that it's so different covering the team this year. I mean, honestly, this morning I was getting up thinking about planning the coverage for the rest of the week and having a player on. And I thought to myself, man, I miss being able to talk to these guys a little bit on a personal level, which helps us to start to get stories and other information that we can do. So that element of just walking over to any guy's locker and hearing his story or hearing him go in depth about things, you don't have the ability to do. So that certainly affects some of your reporting. And then during the preseason, I don't know what to call it, training camp, it was very, 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 very limited in terms of, I guess because the coaches knew that the fans wouldn't be watching, they went to do things that they wouldn't ordinarily do as they try to prep for the season. And they knew the media was needed and allowed to be there. So the compromise was, okay, media, you can be there and see stuff that we wouldn't normally do. But because we're allowing you to be there, you cannot at all talk about anything that's going to lead to other people being able to leverage the information that's coming out about schemes, about player personnel, about who's a starter, who's not. So they made that pretty clear about not letting any of that information out, Tony.
Weird, man. It's weird because we've been to training camp and for so many years, we get to see all of y'all give us the little clips and we're watching on Twitter and I can put together all these highlight videos and they don't show us anything about scheme. Really, is that I feel like they took advantage of the COVID thing to able to say, I don't know. I feel like they own the coverage a little bit more. It was
They do.
disheartening while we're all hungry for information that they couldn't give us just a couple of more videos of Robbie Anderson catching the football. That's not all of a sudden the Saints are not going to know what's up. And come on, is Joe Brady that big of a mastermind? We'll see. I can't wait to see. This guy better be a savant.
Hey, Tony, in regards to the things that we can't talk about, I can say that I'm excited about special teams. I feel like for whatever reason, well, I can't say for whatever reason. I can't say the reason why, but Matt Rule has talked about leveraging special teams and trying to get a few yards, get a better field position, or maybe even still a possession with it. So I'm curious to see what all they're going to try to do to leverage the unknown. He says he doesn't feel like it's going to be a huge advantage. The teams don't have a lot of tape on them, but I'm looking forward to seeing some special teams action today. That's all that I have. One thing I forgot to say, and I'm going to bring Tony back on for closing, is that if you're watching on Twitter or Facebook, because I'm simulcasting on a bunch of different networks, it's fine to watch on those outlets, but if you want to ask questions, I'm only watching YouTube for those questions and be able to answer back to you. So consider switching over to YouTube in the future if you do want to ask questions and engage, which I absolutely welcome you to do. Tony Dunn. Let me get you back on the screen here. Gonna have you zoom out a little bit more next time, because when I put your lower third up, it covers your chin. But
I know, crazy.
there you go. You're perfect. But I'm gonna go back to Tony, who's actually. Let me split screen this for a second and take off his lower third. All right. So Tony Dunn is a guest on today's show. He'll be coming back, but invite you guys to come on. I'm gonna leave a comment for his Twitter and any other links in case you want to follow him to see what information that he has to talk about. But Tony, I'll let you close us out with your quick thoughts and plug your outlet.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and pick the Panthers to win today. We asked, some people were saying, what are the predictions? Is that this is the game the Panthers have to win this season. If you look at the schedule and you look at everything, this is the one that they should be most suited to be in the game. Right, so we're gonna start the season picks off with the fan pick for the Panthers. Right, you can also we're gonna be hanging out after the game. We've got the C3 Panthers podcast post game where we're taking calls. We're hanging out, we're chopping up the game and stuff. You can find that on YouTube. It's the C3 Panthers podcast, and the number to call in is 252-228-5098. I'm so excited that special teams is the toast of this team.
Tony. But that's going to wrap us up for today. Hopefully I'm getting my cameras right. I don't feel like I got them right. There we go. So that's going to wrap us up for today's pregame. Leave your comments below as far as what you want to talk about. I'll be watching the game. We'll go live after the game as well, just to get some fan reaction. As always, leave comments. I will be talking with the coach tomorrow, and I work for you guys. So leave comments on questions that you may have for the coach and pregame show. I love to hear your feedback. So tell me things that you liked from today's pregame, that you didn't like, that you want to see, and we'll be sure to bring it in. So on behalf of Tony Dunn of Cat Chronicles, I'm Chris Jenkins for Charlotte Vibe. We'll see you later today. And as always, thank you so much for watching.